our clients almost never tell me the problem. I have to hear the problem in what they're telling me. So that collaborative spirit and process has to be there. So for instance, when the people from Guatemala came, they came to, where was it? Chicago. It was, Massive Change was in Chicago, and the people from Guatemala came up to see it, to meet, we were working on stuff. They came up and we took them to the show. They loved it. They were like, this is awesome, we want to do this. I said, great, copy it. Just do it exactly as close as you can. Like, don't be shy. Like, just copy it and do it as much as possible. Right? So they had a very similar aesthetic in their installation that they did in Guatemala. That meant that they advanced their project a lot. They didn't have to, go somewhere else. They said, we want it to be like this. Do it. So part of it is having the generosity. Like, a lot of designers would say, well, you can't copy that because, I did. It's like, so what? Right? Like, if this advances the human condition in Guatemala, am I really concerned that it's a little too close? It's like, go for it, babe. Like, get it out there. So part of it is that.
It's how to encourage that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's a kind of single answer to that, how to encourage. It's just that you must encourage it. That's it. Okay, what's the second question?
This is Tricia, about how you do cultural design period.
Anthropology thought they were very enlightened and they had the same goals as social changers, so it's kind of similar.
Yeah, I think it's a fair concern, but it's not too high on my list. And not to be, I'm getting a reputation for being bitchy about things, but not to be bitchy about it, but
But what happens when people take you really seriously? They love you, and there's a responsibility in the sense that people will interpret your message. So how do you tell them, even though it's not high on your list, what happens when?
Well, it's not, it's not high on my list in the sense that, a billion people don't have fresh water. So, so if there's a certain amount of disruption like in Guatemala, when we presented this project in Los Angeles, which is the second biggest Guatemalan city, the consul general, who is the government, the highest government representative in LA, he introduced me and said, as everyone in this room knows, Guatemala suffers from apartheid. And I just about fell over because, here's the government guy basically saying out loud, the reality in Guatemala is that 50% of the people have no access to anything. So that's for me that's so pressing as a challenge. And in the way that you do it, the way that you do it must be humane and socially respectful, and it must have all of those kinds of conditions. But for instance, they borrowed a lot of stuff from our culture, from my own culture, to do their project. So in that sense, you could say, well, that's a kind of cultural imperialism. But if it advances their well-being for that 50%, and it's not only the Mayans that are suffering that way, it's also poor people of every stripe. If it advances their work so much, I prefer to have that happen first, and then we can go and deal with some of the other implications. It's not that I wouldn't be concerned about it, but I think that the reality is that people are dying. I I'd like to work on that immediately, and then in the process, we can get more refined. And as we iterate, we can get more refined.